Hello, I'm Dr. Robert Hayes. Today, I'll take you through valuable health information that's easy to understand and apply. If you're not already following us, we might not appear on your feed again. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our latest videos. Now, I'm sharing my screen with you, so let's get started. I've spent the last 22 years in cardiology watching people make the same 7 devastating mistakes that literally program their hearts for failure. What I'm about to share with you today will shock you because these aren't the obvious mistakes like smoking or eating junk food. These are the subtle, hidden dangers that even the smartest, most health-conscious people over 60 are making every single day, and they're creating a perfect storm for heart attacks. Now, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. Have you ever wondered why heart attacks seem to strike the healthiest people you know? Why your neighbor who walks every day and eats salads suddenly collapses? The first deadly mistake is what I call invisible symptom dismissal, and it's killing more people than you can imagine. Let me tell you about Robert Thompson, a 67-year-old retired engineer from Denver, Colorado. Robert was incredibly intelligent, methodical, and health-conscious. He had his annual checkups, took his vitamins, and considered himself in excellent shape for his age. But Robert was making a fatal error that almost cost him everything. For 3 months, Robert had been experiencing what he called minor inconveniences. He would feel unusually tired after his daily walks, something he attributed to getting older. He started having episodes of what felt like heartburn, especially after climbing stairs, but since antacids helped sometimes, he figured it was just acid reflux. His wife noticed he was breathing a bit harder during their evening strolls, but Robert dismissed it, saying he was probably just out of shape. The most dangerous part was that these symptoms would come and go, making Robert believe they weren't serious. According to the American Heart Association's 2024 comprehensive study on precardiac symptoms, over 78% of adults over 65 experience warning signs for an average of 4.7 months before a major cardiac event, but only 23% seek medical attention because the symptoms seem minor or intermittent. The Cleveland Clinic's recent research published in the Journal of Emergency Medicine found that what patients describe as mild symptoms are actually the heart's desperate attempt to signal for help before catastrophic failure occurs. The invisible symptoms that you must never ignore include unusual fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, especially if it's getting progressively worse, shortness of breath during activities you used to do easily, any chest discomfort that feels like pressure, squeezing, or burning, even if it's mild, jaw pain, neck pain, or arm discomfort that comes and goes without obvious cause, dizziness or feeling faint, particularly when standing or during light activity, nausea or stomach discomfort that seems unrelated to food, and swelling your legs, ankles, or feet that's gradually getting worse. The healthy alternative that could save your life is to start what I call a symptom awareness journal. Every evening, write down how you felt that day, noting any unusual symptoms no matter how minor they seem. Rate your energy levels on a scale of 1 to 10. Share this journal with your doctor at every visit and be specific about changes you've noticed. Trust your instincts because you know your body better than anyone else. Robert ignored his body's warnings until one Thursday morning while reading his newspaper, he felt crushing chest pain that sent him to the emergency room. He needed emergency cardiac catheterization and 3 stents to save his life. Today, Robert tells everyone that if he had paid attention to those minor symptoms and seen his doctor earlier, he could have avoided the heart attack entirely. Your heart whispers before it screams, but you have to be listening. The second fatal mistake is medication mismanagement, and this one breaks my heart every time because it's so preventable. Meet Dorothy Williams, a 69-year-old retired schoolteacher from Richmond, Virginia. Dorothy was prescribed blood pressure medication and a cholesterol-lowering drug by her cardiologist, but she had a problem that's more common than you think. Dorothy didn't like how the blood pressure medication made her feel slightly dizzy in the mornings, so she started taking it only when she remembered or when she felt her blood pressure might be high. She also read an article online about the side effects of cholesterol medications, which scared her so much that she decided to try natural alternatives like red yeast rice and garlic supplements instead. Dorothy thought she was being smart and taking control of her health, but she was actually playing Russian roulette with her heart. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's 2024 medication adherence study revealed that 52% of adults over 65 don't take their prescribed cardiac medications as directed, and this noncompliance directly contributes to over 145,000 preventable cardiovascular deaths each year in the United States. Harvard Medical School's longitudinal research, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, found that patients who inconsistently take their prescribed heart medications have a 380% higher risk of experiencing a major cardiac event within 18 months compared to those who take their medications as prescribed. The medication mistakes that are literally killing people include taking medications only when you feel symptoms or remember, stopping medications because of mild side effects without consulting your doctor first, substituting prescription medications with over-the-counter supplements without medical supervision, not informing all your healthcare providers about every medication and supplement you're taking, and sharing medications with family members or using expired medications. The life-saving alternative is to create what I call a cardiac medication safety system. Use a weekly pill organizer and fill it every Sunday evening. Set multiple phone alarms to remind you of medication times. Keep a complete, updated list of all medications and supplements in your wallet at all times. Never stop or change medications without consulting your prescribing doctor first. Ask your pharmacist to review all your medications for interactions every 6 months. And if you experience side effects, call your doctor immediately rather than stopping the medication on your own. Dorothy learned this lesson the hard way when she ended up in the intensive care unit with dangerously high blood pressure that caused a small stroke. The damage to her brain was permanent, but it could have been completely prevented if she had taken her medications as prescribed. Today, Dorothy takes her medications exactly as her doctor ordered, and her heart and brain are stable. Your prescribed medications aren't suggestions. They're lifelines that your doctor carefully calculated based on your specific risks and needs. If you're getting value from this life-saving information, please take just 2 seconds right now to subscribe to our channel. We publish critical health information every week that could literally add years to your life, and I don't want you to miss any of it. The third deadly mistake is sporadic exercise syndrome. And this one might surprise you because it involves people who think they're being active. Let me introduce you to Michael Chun, a 64-year-old retired accountant from San Francisco, California. Michael had a sedentary job his entire career, but after retirement, he decided to get serious about fitness. His approach was to make up for decades of inactivity by engaging in intense weekend workouts. Every Saturday and Sunday, Michael would spend hours doing intense yard work, play basketball with much younger men, or take long, strenuous hikes that left him exhausted. Michael thought he was doing his heart a favor by being active on weekends, but he was actually creating dangerous stress on a cardiovascular system that wasn't prepared for sudden intense demands. The American College of Sports Medicine released alarming findings in 2024 showing that adults over 60 who engage in sporadic intense exercise have a 290% higher risk of cardiac events during or immediately after exercise compared to those who maintain consistent, moderate activity throughout the week. The Mayo Clinic's exercise physiology research demonstrates that sudden bursts of intense physical activity in previously sedentary individuals cause dangerous spikes in blood pressure, heart rate, and stress hormone levels that can trigger heart attacks, especially in people with underlying cardiovascular disease they don't know about. The exercise patterns that endanger your heart include going from zero activity during the week to intense exercise on weekends, exercising at an intensity level far beyond your current fitness capacity, ignoring warning signs like chest pain, severe shortness of breath, or dizziness during exercise, not warming up adequately before exercise, or cooling down properly afterward, and comparing your physical capabilities to people decades younger than you. The heart protective alternative is to follow what exercise physiologists call the steady-state principle. Aim for 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week, such as brisk walking, swimming, or cycling at a pace where you can still hold a conversation. Start any new exercise program very gradually. increasing intensity by no more than 10% per week. Always warm up for at least 10 minutes before exercise and cool down for 10 minutes afterward. Listen to your body religiously and stop immediately if you experience chest pain, severe shortness of breath, dizziness, or nausea. Choose activities that are appropriate for your current fitness level, not where you wish you were. Michael discovered the danger of his approach when he collapsed during a pickup basketball game and needed emergency resuscitation. He spent 5 days in the cardiac intensive care unit and learned that he had significant blockages in 2 major heart arteries that the sporadic intense exercise had stressed to the breaking point. Now Michael walks for 45 minutes every morning and does gentle strength training 3 times a week. His cardiologist says his heart has never been stronger or more stable. Consistency and moderation will always beat intensity when it comes to heart health after 60. Type 1 in the comments if you've ever pushed yourself too hard during exercise, or type 0 if you maintain consistent moderate activity. The fourth silent killer is chronic stress accumulation, and this one is particularly insidious because it's completely invisible until it destroys your heart. Let me tell you about Patricia Johnson, a 66-year-old grandmother from Atlanta, Georgia. After retiring from her job as a nurse, Patricia thought her stress levels would decrease, but the opposite happened. She found herself constantly worrying about her adult children's financial problems, her husband's declining health, and their own retirement security. Patricia would lie awake at night replaying conversations, imagining worst-case scenarios, and feeling responsible for solving everyone else's problems. She carried tension in her shoulders constantly and found herself feeling angry and frustrated more often than ever before. Patricia didn't realize that this chronic emotional state was literally poisoning her heart muscle and blood vessels. The Harvard School of Public Health published groundbreaking research in 2024 showing that chronic psychological stress in adults over 60 increases the risk of heart attack and stroke by 210% compared to their less stressed peers. The American Heart Association's Stress and Cardiovascular Disease study found that persistent worry, anger, and anxiety cause sustained elevation in cortisol, adrenaline, and inflammatory markers that directly damage heart muscle, increase blood pressure, and promote the formation of dangerous blood clots. The stress patterns that are killing hearts include chronic worry about family members' problems that you cannot control, persistent financial anxiety that keeps you awake at night, carrying anger and resentment from past hurts for years, social isolation and loneliness after major life changes like retirement, perfectionism that makes you constantly dissatisfied with yourself and others, and taking on responsibility for solving other people's problems. The heart protective alternative involves what I call emotional cardiac armor. Practice deep breathing exercises for 15 minutes every morning to reset your nervous system. Learn to set loving but firm boundaries with family members' problems, recognizing that helping too much can actually harm both you and them. Engage in regular social activities that bring you genuine joy and connection with peers who understand your life stage. Consider professional counseling to process old resentments, fears, and disappointments that may be eating away at your emotional well-being. Develop a strong support network of friends who can provide perspective and encouragement during difficult times. Patricia started attending a support group for caregivers and learned meditation and stress reduction techniques. Within 4 months, her blood pressure decreased by 25 points, her chronic headaches disappeared, and her heart rhythm irregularities that had been worsening for months completely resolved. Your emotional health is not separate from your heart health. They're intimately connected, and chronic stress can be just as deadly as high cholesterol or diabetes. The fifth mistake is nutritional negligence, and it's destroying hearts faster than most people realize. This is the story of Frank Rodriguez, a 71-year-old retired construction foreman from Phoenix, Arizona. Frank had survived decades of eating whatever was convenient and fast, and he figured that since his heart had made it this far, it could handle anything. After retirement, his eating habits actually got worse rather than better. He would often skip breakfast entirely, have a large processed lunch with high sodium content, eat his biggest meal late at night while watching television, and rarely consumed fresh fruits or vegetables. Frank didn't understand that his aging heart needed more nutritional support, not less, and that the dietary sins of his youth were finally catching up with him. The Journal of the American College of Cardiology published comprehensive research in 2024 showing that poor dietary habits after age 60 accelerate cardiovascular disease progression by 280% compared to those who maintain heart-healthy eating patterns throughout their later years. The National Institute on Aging's nutritional study found that seniors who skip meals, eat irregularly, or consume primarily processed foods have significantly higher rates of cardiac arrhythmias, blood sugar instabilities, and systemic inflammation that directly stress the heart and blood vessels. The nutritional mistakes that are damaging hearts every day include skipping meals regularly, especially breakfast, which causes dangerous blood sugar swings that stress the heart, eating your largest meals late at night when your metabolism is slowest and your heart has to work harder to digest food, consuming high-sodium processed foods daily, which forces your heart to pump against higher blood pressure, drinking fewer than 6 glasses of water per day, leading to blood that's thicker and harder for your heart to pump, and eating fresh fruits and vegetables fewer than 3 times per day, depriving your heart of essential nutrients and antioxidants it needs for repair and protection. The heart-healthy alternative that could add years to your life is to follow what cardiologists call the cardiac longevity diet. Eat smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day to keep your blood sugar and energy levels stable. Make breakfast your most important meal, including protein, whole grains, and fresh fruit to fuel your heart for the day ahead. Choose whole, unprocessed foods whenever possible, focusing on colorful vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats like those found in olive oil, nuts, and fish. Limit sodium intake to less than 2,000 milligrams per day by reading labels and cooking more meals at home. Stay properly hydrated by drinking water throughout the day, which helps your heart pump more efficiently and reduces the risk of dangerous blood clots. Frank learned about proper nutrition the hard way when he suffered a major heart attack that required emergency bypass surgery. His cardiologist told him that his arteries were so clogged with plaque that it was amazing he had survived as long as he did. Frank completely changed his eating habits, working with a nutritionist to plan heart-healthy meals. He lost 40 pounds over 8 months, and his follow-up tests showed dramatic improvements in his cholesterol, blood pressure, and overall heart function. Your heart is literally made from the food you eat, so every meal is either helping your heart heal and strengthen or contributing to its destruction. Please take a moment to subscribe to our channel right now if this information is helping you understand how to protect your heart. I share life-saving health content every single week, and your heart health depends on staying informed about these critical issues that most doctors never have time to fully explain. The 6th deadly mistake is sleep destruction, and this might be the most underestimated heart killer of all. Meet Helen Davis, a 68-year-old retired office manager from Seattle, Washington. Helen believed that needing less sleep was just a natural part of aging, so she wasn't concerned when she started sleeping only 4 to 5 hours per night. She would stay up late watching television or reading, then wake up early and find herself unable to fall back asleep. During the day, she felt tired but would push through with caffeine and willpower. Helen didn't realize that her poor sleep patterns were systematically destroying her heart's ability to repair and restore itself every night. The American Heart Association's 2024 Sleep and Cardiovascular Health Scientific Statement reveals that adults over 60 who consistently get fewer than 6 hours of sleep per night have a 240% higher risk of heart attack, stroke, and cardiac death compared to those who get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. The Sleep Research Society's landmark study found that inadequate sleep causes dangerous inflammation in blood vessels, disrupts the heart's natural nighttime repair processes, and leads to hormonal imbalances that directly increase blood pressure and blood sugar levels. The sleep patterns that are endangering hearts include getting fewer than 6 hours of sleep on a regular basis, which doesn't give your heart adequate time for nightly repair and restoration, having highly irregular sleep schedules that confuse your body's natural circadian rhythms, sleeping with untreated sleep apnea, which causes your heart to work overtime all night long. using electronic devices within 2 hours of bedtime, which disrupts your brain's natural sleep preparation, and relying on alcohol or over-the-counter sleeping pills for sleep, which interfere with deep sleep stages when your heart does its most important healing. The heart protective sleep solution involves creating what sleep specialists call optimal cardiac sleep architecture. Go to bed and wake up at exactly the same time every single day, including weekends, to regulate your body's internal clock. Create a relaxing bedtime routine that begins 1 full hour before you want to be asleep, including activities like reading, gentle stretching, or listening to calming music. Keep your bedroom temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, completely dark, and as quiet as possible to promote deep sleep stages. Avoid large meals, caffeine, and alcohol within 4 hours of bedtime, as these can all interfere with sleep quality and heart function during the night. Get evaluated by a sleep specialist if you snore loudly, wake up gasping, or feel tired despite spending adequate time in bed, as sleep apnea is incredibly common and dangerous in people over 60. Helen worked with a sleep medicine physician and discovered she had moderate to severe sleep apnea that was causing her heart to struggle all night long. After beginning treatment with a CPAP machine and implementing proper sleep hygiene practices, her blood pressure normalized within 6 weeks, her heart palpitations completely disappeared, and her energy levels during the day improved dramatically. Quality sleep is literally when your heart gets to rest, repair, and prepare for another day of keeping you alive. The 7th and most dangerous mistake of all is what I call the denial and delay trap, and this one is responsible for more preventable cardiac deaths than any other factor. Let me tell you about William Martinez, a 65-year-old retired police officer from Miami, Florida. William was tough, independent, and had spent his entire career dealing with emergencies, but when it came to his own health, he made a fatal error in judgment. William started experiencing chest pressure and shortness of breath during his morning walks, but he convinced himself it was just getting out of shape. When the symptoms started occurring during less strenuous activities like climbing stairs, he told himself he needed to lose weight. Even when his wife and adult children begged him to see a doctor, William refused, insisting he felt fine most of the time and didn't want to bother anyone or appear weak. William's denial and delay almost cost him everything. The American Medical Association's 2024 Prevent a Cardiac Care study found that 67% of men over 60 and 45% of women over 60 delay seeking medical care for concerning cardiac symptoms for more than 4 months, often with devastating consequences. The Journal of Emergency Medicine reported that patients who ignore obvious warning signs and delay appropriate treatment have a 420% higher mortality rate when they finally do experience a major cardiac event compared to those who seek help at the first sign of trouble. The denial patterns that kill people include convincing yourself that symptoms will disappear on their own if you just ignore them long enough, avoiding medical checkups because you're afraid of what you might find out, refusing to discuss concerning symptoms with family members or healthcare providers, believing that if symptoms aren't constant or severe, they must not be serious, and thinking that heart problems only happen to other people, not to someone as strong or healthy as you. The life-saving alternative is what I call proactive cardiac vigilance. Schedule and religiously keep regular comprehensive checkups with your primary care physician every 6 months after age 60, including blood work, blood pressure monitoring, and cardiac risk assessment. Discuss any new, changing, or concerning symptoms immediately with your healthcare provider, no matter how minor they might seem. Never wait for symptoms to become severe, constant, or unbearable before seeking help, because by then, permanent damage may have already occurred. Involve trusted family members or friends in your health decisions and listen to their concerns when they notice changes in your health or abilities. Remember that catching cardiovascular problems early almost always leads to much better outcomes, simpler treatments, and longer, healthier lives. William finally sought medical attention when he collapsed at home while getting dressed one morning, but by then it was almost too late. He needed emergency quadruple bypass surgery and spent 2 weeks in the cardiac intensive care unit. His surgeon told him that if he had come in just 6 months earlier when his symptoms first started, he likely could have been treated with medications and lifestyle changes instead of major surgery. Today, William encourages every man he meets to speak up about health concerns early and never delay seeking medical attention. Early detection and treatment can not only save your life, but also preserve your quality of life and independence. Type 1 in the comments if you've ever delayed seeing a doctor about symptoms that concerned you, or type 0 if you always address health concerns promptly. My dear friends, these 7 silent mistakes are claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of people over 60 every single year, and the tragedy is that every single death is completely preventable. The power to protect your heart is literally in your hands right now. You can choose to listen carefully to your body's warning signals instead of dismissing them as normal aging. You can commit to taking your prescribed medications exactly as your doctor intended. You can engage in consistent, moderate exercise that strengthens your heart instead of shocking it with sporadic intensity. You can learn to manage the stress and emotional burdens that accumulate in your later years. You can nourish your heart with the foods it needs to stay strong and healthy. You can prioritize the quality sleep that allows your heart to repair and restore itself every night. Most importantly, you can refuse to fall into the denial trap and seek medical attention at the very first sign that something might be wrong. Your heart has been faithfully serving you for over 6 decades, beating approximately 2.5 billion times to keep you alive and healthy. Now more than ever, it needs your attention, respect, and care. Don't let these preventable mistakes rob you of the golden years you've worked so hard to reach. Your family needs you, your community needs you, and you deserve to enjoy many more years of health and vitality. If this video has opened your eyes to the real dangers threatening your heart and given you the knowledge to protect yourself, please share it with every person you care about who is over 60. Subscribe to our channel for more life-saving health information that could literally add years to your life and life to your years. Hit that notification bell so you never miss critical health updates. Remember, knowledge is only powerful when you act on it. So please take what you've learned today and use it to protect your most precious asset, your heart. Thank you for trusting me with your health education, and I'll see you in our next life-saving video, where we'll discuss the 5 emergency warning signs that mean your heart is in immediate danger and you need to call 911 right now.